Welcome back to Learning How to CAD with Autodesk Inventor. In this episode, we're going to cover a pre-made parts library filled with FTC parts that you're going to need to build your robots in CAD. And then we'll go on to finding and downloading other parts that aren't in that library. And then finally, we'll go into modifying the parts that you download so that they have specific sizes or materials and weights, and you can even change the color of some parts. So to start off, we're going to go visit a website called grabcad.com, and then if you want to add the /library now, that's fine. To access this page, you may need to make an account, but it is totally free, and you'll need this to access a downloadable program. You can see it down here in my taskbar called GrabCAD Workbench. It will allow you to share files between your different team members, whoever wants to CAD. Kind of like Google Drive, but not quite the same. We'll get into that into a future episode, though. So for now, we're going to go to the Library tab and then search Warwick Barker, Warwick Barker, and then enter. And then this should pop up, the Tetrix part library, and then Inventor 2018 files in parentheses. So this is going to contain all the parts you should need to make your robots. If you do need another part, I'll show you in just a moment how to find those. But basically just click this download files button and everything will download into a zip folder, and then you can unzip that and start working. So, like I said, basically everything you need should be in here, but if it's not, you can just go to a website. Your main website is going to be Pitsco Education. Yeah, go away. So pitsco.com. Is there anything? Yeah, that's it. And then from here, you can search Tetrix. And then it autofilled motors because Pitsco's a little annoying. But from there, we don't use these, but I'll just use this as an example. You go in, click whatever part you want. Go away. And then down here, scroll down a little bit. You can click Download Now for a 3D CAD file. Most files should have this. If it doesn't, then go search on a website like GrabCAD, like I already showed you back here. Or yeah, it's basically your only option. Or make it yourself, I guess, but it's a little more difficult without an actual CAD file. And so that's your main site for getting things. Another site is Vex Pro. This is more specific parts, like they make better gears than Tetrix does, but the gears are less Tetrix friendly because they only come in D-bore, or not D-bore, that's Tetrix. They come in hex bore, and they are quite a bit more expensive. Finally, we can go to, oh wait, here, I gotta show you. So for Vex Pro, you just click on whatever part you want. And then for a lot of these parts, there's a long list of different parts, so you gotta find which specific one you want. Let's say we want the 20-tooth gear. This is part number 217-2702. So now we'll go down all the way to this drop-down or table area here. Go to CAD files, and then go find whichever one you want. It does have the name, but you can also search for the part number. 20-tooth, this one. And then you can preview it if you want. There it comes. Or you can just download it right away. That's what it'll look like. It's going to download a specific file type, which I'll talk about in just a moment. And then finally, let's go to Rev Robotics first. We have Rev Robotics, which makes the expansion hubs and control hubs, which will be used to control our robots this year. So since I don't have a control hub in the library, let's go to Control Hub. And then click on the Control Hub, and then scroll down to the CAD. And just click on this one and it'll download it. Finally, we have a Mastercard, which is more industrial parts, so it's going to be a lot larger library that's not necessarily related to robotics, but for certain things it works pretty well, like screws and bolts. I'm just going to click on some arbitrary things and say, oh hey, we want this screw. Click on the part number, go over here, click product detail, and then scroll down and you'll see this drop down. For most files we're going to want 3D step, not 3D SolidWorks or any of those other options, because that's the most transferable to Autodesk Inventor. And then close that, and then just click Save, and it'll download it for you. So this is a step file. Inventor works with different files like IDWs and INVs, IPTs, stuff like that, IAM. Other programs like SolidWorks use programs with the after the dot, it's SLD PRT and SLD ASM, so SolidWorks part and SolidWorks assembly. If you can find step files, if you can find Inventor files, that's best, but then step comes right after that, and then it's STL. And in my experience, it's just very complicated to work with any of the other files. And for STLs, you actually need an add-in. I don't have an STL open, but I'll show you that later if you need specific help with converting an STL to an actual part. Okay, so now that we have all our parts we want, we can go, let's make a custom part. And since the last episode, I've added the parts library that I've shown you in GrabCAD. Let's make a shorter channel, a more specifically sized one. So let's say we have a channel that we need a specific size for that we're going to have to end up cutting down. So you're going to open the part, and then before you do anything, click File, Save As, and then if you know what length it's going to be, you can name it that, like 400 millimeter channel, or whatever else it's going to be. If you don't know, just name it whatever you think you can best identify it with. So for now, I'm just going to call it Custom Channel. There we go. Save. And now this part is your custom channel, even though it looks the same as the 418 millimeter channel that we just opened. So from there, you can start a 2D sketch on really any plane. And then there's two ways to go about doing this. If we want, so let's first use our rectangle tool to click on this bottom corner, and then just click anywhere on this line, as long as there's no green dot. And then you can dimension from here to here. And let's say we want a 200 millimeter bar. So this is the first way to do it. We finish sketch, and then we click extrude. And then this bottom option here, it's called intersect. We can select that, and then change the distance to all, so it selects the full part. And it will just give me whatever that box is encircled. So as you could see, the second half of the bar, the channel, was removed because that wasn't inside our box. The second way to do this is if we open up our sketch again, go to the drop down, double click, is say we want the other half. Let's just change this for no reason. We want this half this time. We do our box, but do the little math to figure out what we want. Do the extrusion like we did last time by clicking up here. And then instead of clicking intersect, we click on this cut tool right in the middle. And it will cut off whatever is inside that box to give you the other half. And then from there, you can just File, Save. And there you go. That's about it. So for parts you bring in by yourself, or let's just start with the parts I have in the GrabCAD library for you, should all have materials and weights assigned to them, so your robot will be accurately weighed in the CAD. To access that weight, you go to File, down to iProperties, and then all the way on the right in this Physical tab, then just quickly click the update, and it'll be right here in this mass area. So as you can see, this portion of a channel is 0.109 kilograms. To edit this, if you bring in a part by yourself and most websites will show you the weight, so you can just automatically type in the weight. Let's say this thing is 1 pound. We can type in 1 lb, and it will automatically change it to kilograms, as long as you add the units. And then finally, we can play with the colors. I always like to leave it with like a realistic color, but if you really wanted to, you can go up here to the right of these two, like they both say aluminum on the front, but this one's material, this one is color. You can click, let's make it canary yellow. And as you can see, just this little part got turned yellow because this is not a full part, it's more of an STL or a step file. But if you want to change the other sides, you just click, control, click, blah, 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 and so on. And then change color, and now it's yellow. So if you really want to change the color, go for it. I would leave it the same color as it would be in real life, but to each his own. So that's it for this episode. In the next episode, we're going to cover the general assembly constraints that you're going to need to start making your robot in CAD.